we're here at Fennings Farms. This is Grant, our sales rep on the road, who has a wealth of experience in handling and merchandising produce. So I wanted to ask you a couple questions, Grant.
Sure.
About spinach in particular. This is the first crop coming off our field this season, and so we want to talk about what the best way to store and handle the spinach is. But let's start on the farm, Grant. When do we normally harvest the spinach on the farm here?
Well, harvesting should be attempted earlier in the morning when it's a little cooler. The post-harvest handling techniques are really, really important to maintain the quality of the spinach. The spinach plant should be selected according to the color and the size, or the maturity or lack of maturity. So it's somewhere in between young and mid-maturity, not overly mature. And another characteristic is the stem, called the it's a Latin word anyway. It should be shorter than the actual leaf. Okay, so that's important, and also inspected for any damages to the leaf, insect damage in particular, or hail damage, that kind of thing. And the roots should be cut to industry standards, so they're not too long. And it is ideally kept in temperatures around 0 degrees, 32 degrees. And it will keep for up to 10 to 14 days at that temperature. And it should be sold as soon as possible. Basically, the quality will go down. The most important aspect of spinach is the humidity factor. Lacking humidity, it will start to dry and lose appeal and color. Okay, so the spinach is cleaned prior to boxing, and there's a paper put on top of the spinach with a small amount of ice to keep the case thoroughly damp and wet. Mm-hmm. The spinach is put in wax boxes specifically to retain moisture. That's the whole idea, is retaining the moisture in the box and consequently in the plant.
What about in the store? What's the best way to keep it moist in the store?
Regular, frequent misting is ideal. Spinach usually gets banged up fairly easily by handling. So to keep sales moving, the display has to be cleaned up on a regular basis, and it should be displayed in such a way that the spinach can breathe, not piled up one on top of each other. Okay, so that kind of compression would harm the plant. Also, the tie that goes on the spinach should be not too tight. Obviously, it'll start to pinch the stems, and once that happens, decay will start to set in. You might not see it on the outside, but as you go inside, the breakdown will start to happen.
And then what about at home, for folks at home? What's the best way to keep the spinach looking good in your fridge?
Well, keep it fresh by maybe immersing in water for a few moments, but not a long time, because the leaf structure is not that strong where it's going to hold. Okay, so let it drain, and then either put it in a cloth bag or a plastic bag with still retaining some of the moisture in the bag, and it should keep just fine.
Beautiful.
Also, you should always consider, I guess at distribution level anyway, that it is susceptible to ethylene, so it should not be stored with any melons and apples and that sort of thing that emits a lot of ethylene. It will increase the breakdown of the plant, turning the leaves yellow.
Good to know. All right, well, thanks, Grant.
All right.